if that's okay. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's okay. That works for me.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you just end up having to repeat what you've said, and then we'll save it and add it. So Dubie's joining us too, so
yeah,
take it away.
no problem.
And now you have to remind me, Tigane or Tefera?
Yep.
Tefera is your dad's name.
Yep.
And Tigane
is my name. It's it's my name, Tigane.
Tigane.
Yes. It's
okay,
Tigane.
thank you. Take it away.
All right. Can I share my?
You want to share your screen?
Yeah, I just want to show some photos.
Okay, let's see. Multiple can share simultaneously. Can you see the share screen?
Yes, I see the share screen.
Okay, go ahead. That means you've got the ability.
Yeah, I can share. Let's see.
Thanks for going with the flow, you guys, and just joining in. And if you've got time to fill out that feedback form, you know, to see how we can improve on our events and maybe make this happen a little bit sooner. Really hard to interrupt the flow of information though, right? And Brock and Reagan, twins? No, oh my goodness.
Oh.
I can't tell you guys apart.
I'm the ugly one.
Yeah, well, then that makes Reagan ugly too, right? So I'm sorry.
That's right.
I'm going to say beautiful for both. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
There you go. Dubie agrees. I saw that. Tigane, whenever you're ready, I'm going to let you take over, okay?
Yeah, thank you.
I'm just warming up the crowd, making sure they're happy and smiling and connected.
Let me see.
So while we're waiting for Tigane, how's it going so far with the meeting? Dubie, Reagan, Brock, Aman, Dimitri. What are your thoughts? Brock, go ahead.
I personally really enjoy the meeting right now. I am very interested in agriculture. My family grows organic garden, and we're involved with studying and experimenting with soil remediation right here locally in Manitoba. So we do hugelculture. I have a worm farm and make up teas for feeding the garden, and do composting. So I think that it's a very interesting field of study, and I think that it's a very good use case too for being able to educate individuals in local areas as to what works for the soil conditions locally. And I think that's a potential use case for NFTs in different regions. I think that's very cool.
Dubie's right in between you and I in Alberta. So, and with NFT seed. So, you know, the connections are absolutely amazing. Tyler, I'm sorry I took over. Take a moment to have a bite. You know, you said low blood sugar a little while ago. Please take care of yourself. And the rest of you, Tyler has taken over this event this time. Never done this before, and I had the opportunity today to step back and enjoy myself. So this to me is huge, Tyler, and thank you very much for doing this. Still eat, because Tigane is going to take over and fill in the gap. So just take care of you, okay? And I'm going to go make the rest of my tea.
All right. I'll just say that I was saying the entire thing that we have discussed about the technology, the principles of regeneration, and the challenges. The project in Ethiopia, I'm sorry, I have a little cough and a little difficulty to talk, so bear with me. So the projects we are thinking about is about implementing those principles in a country somehow historically and culturally and politically, somehow it's really the perfect, I believe that the perfect place to implement those principles. There are certain conditions in Ethiopia that makes the entry barrier so low for this kind of projects that that's what we want to really introduce to all of you to participate. As you see on my on the file that I shared, that this is really the thing that we are trying to change. This is on the highlands of Ethiopia. It's highly densely populated area for hundreds of kilometers. There are really very few villages. There are cities, but people live like this for hundreds of kilometers. They're not really living together that much, which makes it very, very difficult to provide services such as schools and health facilities, electricity, clean water, telephone. And the land, this is highland, so most of Ethiopia is, at least I think probably 50% of Ethiopia is highland, and that is the highland area which is densely populated and degraded, highly degraded. This is probably from the same area that the degradation of the land. What we are proposing is there are also from the highlands also in opposite, there are also lowlands in Ethiopia where that are not populated at all. They are warm valleys where there is water, but they are not populated because they are warm and they are kind of inhospitable to live. So people live in the highlands and yeah, they overuse the land up there and they removed all the forest. So what we are proposing is to take land, a small piece of land on lowlands near the rivers in the valley, and build beautiful livable villages where people would want to move into from the highlands so that we can reforest the highlands. This is not going to be a very short time project, but the situation in Ethiopia allows us to do that because of the land ownership issue and the decentralized type of governance in Ethiopia, that we can deal with districts, with regions, with the government, and the political situation that makes it really very difficult not to change at the moment. So that's what we are trying to achieve. And this is not going to be done by few people. It's going to need expertise of almost anyone who wants to be involved. We need economists, we need probably investors, we are going to need blockchain experts, game theory experts, almost everyone, how to achieve this. This is the problem that we're going to solve, and that's what we are going to discuss today. And we have been discussing with some people, local people in Ethiopia. We have been discussing to administrators and representatives of the local population. And we have got a very positive answer from the reply. And we have been discussing also with one of the most celebrated African permacultural teachers, that he was my teacher. He's from Zimbabwe, and he travels all over Africa to teach permaculture and sustainable agriculture. And we have, yeah, I think Taylor has his video to probably can show us. And from that, I think we can take up the discussion and go from there. Thank you.
Hey, I'm sorry, I just need 1 minute. I just want to post something.
Okay, good time for anybody else to just pop in and say something. Let's fill the gap and let Tyler do his stuff.
Where exactly are you in the stages of reclaiming or just of this project as a whole? Like, do you have land that you acquired in the lowlands of Ethiopia, and also whereabouts in the highland of Ethiopia is this project located?
The project is located in southern Ethiopia, in a district called Yem. But we have also, after we have discussed this thing, and we have also another district that we have promised land. Land in Ethiopia is owned kind of, there is no private ownership of land. It's the government, which supposed to be the society, owns the land. So that makes it really very easy to acquire land if we convince the authorities that what we are doing is going to benefit the society. And we go through the legal process. So we are promised that we have identified the land we want to work on. It is unoccupied, and basically they have said that there is no problem. If you really want to work on this land, then you can have that land, as long as the legal conditions and our project is acceptable to the community.
Yeah, I have I have Tichafa's video lined up, and I just to give you a little bit of background. So Tichafa was Tagane's, who is just speaking, Tefera. He was your permaculture design teacher, right? Many years ago, and I had a talk with him yesterday. He's been teaching permaculture design for 28 years in, I think, over 18 countries in East Africa, including Ethiopia. He's in Zimbabwe right now. And so I will, I don't want to play the whole video because he kind of gets into his experience. And I jump in just to keep it a little bit shorter, just jump into where he is beginning to talk about landscape design in the Ethiopian highlands. So I'm gonna screen share real quick, and
you can also drop
back here.
You can also drop the link to the full version in the chat too after.
I have it all queued up here. Let me try. Let me know if it's weird. Can I go on mute and play video at the same time? Probably, right?
Yeah, no problem. But you can also drop the full length link in the chat in case somebody wants to hear the whole story.
Okay, I will do that.
Thanks.
All right. Yeah. Whoop. Screen share. Screen share. Is that it? Is that queued up? Nope. Where was it? Sorry.
I'm not hearing any volume.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. Sorry about this.
Tyler, no worries. We're all learning how to use this and navigate this new system.
I had it all lined up here. I think it was around 7:30 or 7:20. And I'm going to crank the volume seems cranked. I'm going to turn it all the way up on my computer. Let me know what you think of the audio.
Okay, still no volume on my side. Anybody else? Any suggestions?
Well,
Francois, have you got any ideas on what might be going amiss?
I'm not the one to ask about this.
Oh, I'm asking Francois.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you're in the screen share window, at the very bottom left, there's a little button that says sound, include sound or something, or video. I can't remember what it says exactly, but there is a button there which allows the video to be played directly, the sound of the video to be played directly, so it doesn't go through your speaker system.
Oh, I knew you were
Okay.
here for a reason.
Oh,
That's what I came for.
More than one. Thank you for being here, Francois.
so I'm seeing something that says share sound. I guess you can see me. If I click on that, is that the thing I should be clicking on?
No, we don't see that part of it yet. You
Okay.
you may have to
Well, let me-
stop screen share.
You have to come out of the screen share first,
Gotcha.
and then you go into the screen share again, and then you look in the window somewhere at the bottom right or bottom left. Sorry, there's a little box which
Oh, I
says
see it. Share sound.
And now we all learn
Excellent.
this. Yeah, thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Francis. All right, let's try this again. Back it up.
What we want to also look at is
You can hear that? And I'm going to go on mute.
it doesn't matter.
You don't have to.
I
Yeah,
feel
I
like
just don't
if
want
you
you to hear
mute the mic,
hear the baby. Gotcha.
all right.
We'll try it. Okay.
this landscape. What are the opportunities? The landscape with lots of slopes, the hilly landscape, it's a big advantage. There is already a slope. We must control the slope. The first thing we want to control is the running water. Once we control the running water, we have contained our soils, we have contained our water, we have actually sent all the water down, so that down the lower land, we're actually creating springs. There are situations here where you find there's a highland there, like one part of Ethiopia where we have Arba Minch. Then up there is Dorze. Arba Minch is just 1,100 meters above sea level. You go up to Dorze, you are 2,800 meters above sea level. So much rain up there. Arba Minch down there receives this water that has gone down up there in Dorze. And Arba Minch actually means 40 springs. So many springs, there are more than 100 there. So we can actually have these terraces building springs at the lower level of the land. So when we have this kind of terrain, we are really to learn from the Konso people, from other people. We also use the A-frame to really make a lot of swells, contain more water, have more growth now. All the silt soil now captured, and things happen that way. So when you arrive in the area, the Wareda, the local people, everybody's involved. Everybody will put their input and will make notes out of that. That's how it will work. But the scoping period is on its own, because we don't want to jump into a project before we get in really contact with people. We want to really discuss with people. We want to integrate them into what we want to do. And we want to get an understanding of each other. They should not look at us as taking over. They should look at us as adding more knowledge to the knowledge that they have. So in all communities, people have got so much knowledge. It is from this knowledge that we move forward. If we are permaculturists, we are saying the old information, the traditional information, the already known information, there are gaps that we want to feed in and then move forward. That way we can really have successful projects. Challenges, normally what are the challenges? The challenge is that people look at funding and they have a fund. Once that fund goes, the project is dead. That situation is created by the way funders bring money. They want the money to come in, and they want it used for the 2 years, and then they disappear from the scene. Now, the approach I've normally used is we develop a permaculture project with individuals, model group. The model group must develop some ownership. We are saying, learn from this project, maybe as an employee. We want you to go home and do the same. We support you as you start to do it. We follow up on you. We make you exchange with other people who have done the same. And we are exchanging even seed, we are exchanging everything that they are also doing. Then we have these field days, we move around with them. We also find a way of sponsoring some competition, not really a cutthroat kind of thing where people are so cruel of each other. We are actually saying everybody's a winner here. It depends on how much you achieved. We are giving you this level of a prize. So the idea will be, let's annually have field days, exchange visits, and competitions. And this comes on year in, year out. At the moment, we are saying, at the same time, we are saying, what plants did we grow in the first year? Now they are producing. In areas where you can grow purpose, you can actually see this development. In 6 months, they are flowering. Other trees, your budded oranges are already giving flowers and fruit by the 2nd year. And people now tend to integrate this into their life. They love these things. They are part of them. They are part of their lives. So the feeling that the donor will come back, we are moving it out slowly. We want to build them and then gradually move out. And it really works to gradually move out with competitions. And we are always redesigning what they've done so they can actually, like they are starting afresh, So the project grows and grows and grows. We're actually saying, if we planted 100 trees last year, why don't we try 200 this year? Maybe the other year, let's monitor all our trees. Let's replace those that died. We have that plan like that. We move like that. That will work very well. I think this will be okay with the holistic approach that I've defined. I will be ready for any other questions, and if they are stated clearly, I will answer each of the questions as they come.
If I just jump in here, and unfortunately he was supposed to probably attend this conference today, but one of the challenges, the network is not available, so he can't come. And also the district that we are going to have, the leadership of the district that we are going to have the land, they tried to send videos to me yesterday and today, but they didn't succeed, exactly for the same reason. Very poor network. But I have talked to them on telephone, and they are really very happy. They are very excited to listen to what we are proposing. At least that's the first step that we are going to do.
We can see that there are some technological hurdles to overcome, major ones. If the leader of the district can't send a video, but just one of many interesting challenges involved with this project. And I think what we have going for it, I'm sorry I jumped in late, but you know, Ethiopia is a major focus for IOG and Cardano. And so I think any effort, any progress that we make on this kind of a project, I think we can get a lot of interest from the community as a whole to help move it forward. Because it's, I mean, we're talking about, you know, creating opportunity for 100,000 people and reforesting a landscape, getting the landscape back to producing food for subsistence farmers that are, you know, I mean, these folks they've just been in these areas for generations. I mean, going back hundreds of generations, right? Mm-hmm. So it may seem a little amorphous and up in the air at this point, and that's because it is just really, really super early. This is just a project that you know, to gain. He's been plugging away at Project Catalyst and trying to find solutions for Ethiopia for a while now. And he brought this idea to our group, and it just seems like a great opportunity to really think through a lot of these challenges. Tichafa mentioned that one of the challenges was you know, funding, and there's a history of exploitation when it comes to like, hey, we're coming in here with some solutions, these are going to be great for you guys, and then they extract what they can and they leave. So clearly we're not going to be doing that, but there's also a level of trust that we have to build. But even before all of that, we're trying to think about what we're actually doing. So to help put it into focus a little bit, so I guess Fund 8 is just starting right now. Fund 9 then is a few months away. Fund 10 is maybe 6 months away. So I think whether it's, you know, Fund 9 or Fund 10, you know, as we're one thing that we can work towards is just putting a proposal together that's going to be the first steps for getting this project underway. And since it is a permaculture project, one of the things that's really critical early on is just gathering information, observing the landscape, noting what plants are there, what animals are there, where the rain is flowing, what areas, you know, have growth longer into the dry season, etc. All of these little things, and all of these, this is all like really important data that has value for this project, and hopefully we can find a way for it to have value to the community and potential investors. So there's going to be a fact-finding mission that Tichafa can help coordinate on the ground. But when it comes down to it, it's going to be the young people of Yem that are out there collecting this data as sort of like a decentralized permaculture project observational blitz in a way, which is going to be pretty unique. But it seems like an opportunity because it's unique, and we're talking about, you know, if we're talking about documenting wildlife, there's a first time that happens, which sounds very NFTable to me, any of those kinds of things. So not that we can build in the value and collectability, but you know, we have to earn that.
Tyler, I'm going to just interrupt for 2 seconds.
Please.
It's interesting that you were talking about observation, and we have a little chuckle going on here because it's hard to see Dubie's hand up right now. And this is a really good point if you think about it. Yeah, no other side, Dubie, actually on our screen. Has to come up the other way. See there. And it's exactly what observation is all about, right? There's things that pass through our lives that we don't look at if we're, and not to criticize, you know, if we're focused on our own stuff. I do it myself, right? You know, we miss these little signs throughout, and I'm very excited to do this. So I'm sorry for interrupting. I did want to draw attention to, and maybe that's why we need each other, because there's little observations in this program that we may not notice by ourselves.
Yeah, and Dubie, we're really happy to have you here. You know, you presented at the tree conference that we had last month, or a couple months ago at this point, and shared that you had extensive permaculture design experience in Ethiopia. So just one of these lucky accidents that we find each other here. And so yeah, I don't know, what do we think? I'm going to drop the outline that we have
So
into
Tyler,
the chat. So yeah.
Sorry, Tyler, Dubie does have a question, I believe. I'm not 100% sure, but let's open space.
Yeah, I do. I wanted to know what the people really need in the immediate environment in Ethiopia. I'm more familiar with the Oromia region, and the projects I've worked within are in Harbachule, a small town, maybe 150 kilometers south of Addis, and I've spent quite a bit of time looking at a lot of the different forests and growing some different plants all across the region. But at any rate, have become rather connected with a lot of the different peoples that are growing different plants, or trying different things, or trying different ways of rehabilitating the environment. And when we know what the people in the locality that you're really working with need, we can plug those things together probably really quickly. As well as what do you foresee as being the first steps to building out something that people can align with, connect to, and then be a catalyst for change?
So sorry, just to add to what Dubie just said, I think that, like was said in this video, I'm not exactly sure who this is from. That's the question I had as well for Tefera, because I came a little bit late. So this guy talking, but he had a lot of great things to say, and I think one of the great tools I think we have is having some sort of challenge or competition where we can kind of have some sort of friendly way to encourage like collaboration within communities and get people to work on like a common goal. So whether that be like planting trees or, you know, something around like the hydrology, which is probably the first step once we do like define like what's going to work well in this region, like whether that be swales or, you know, well-placed ponds or dams or something like this. Like once we decide what is going to be the best, kind of like sharing that information with the locals, seeing their perspective, and obviously making sure that, you know, they agree and they support this, and then kind of, you know, encouraging them to follow these principles that we've kind of seen work well in this area, or, you know, kind of deduced from observing and interacting with the people on the ground and, you know, the actual environment, and seeing how the water flows in the region. Like, I think that's step one. So something like, I think the video that I'm pretty sure everyone here has seen from India, I think it's Andrew Millison video, where he goes there and shows the project that they've done there around like just water harvesting structures in different villages and competitions that they had there. And it's like every village that participated in the competition won because they had a better hydrology in their area. And yeah, I think if we have something like that encouraged with, I don't know how we implement blockchain into that, but I feel like it's better to have a good solution and try and work blockchain into it than trying to, you know, just work out a problem with blockchain. I think it makes more sense for us to see how we can use blockchain as a tool for this real world solution.
I had a question, sir. Yes.
Come on, go for it. Yeah, ask away.
Yes, sir. So basically, I was thinking, sir, like how blockchain tech, like, you know, especially Cardano system, can be implemented for gathering data, like, you know, making it transparent, like building regeneration of agriculture through forests, and building up creating almost like a society from scratch. It is like, and food systems and everything have to be planned. So how do you think like Cardano ecosystem or blockchain can be implemented into this idea, or just through like, you know, like what is like a framework that can be implemented? That is my question. Thank you.
Yeah, that's the big question, right? I mean, there's a lot of pieces. We need digital identities. We want those identities to be decentralized and under full, you know, respect people's sovereignty. So it needs to be kind of an open system. And we're eventually we may need satellite data and oracles that can be trusted. We need investment. I mean, there's so many different ways. We need money to flow into this. That's where Project Catalyst can come in. Now, we don't want to become reliant on Project Catalyst for funding. We want to be generating real value, but then there's other financial vehicles like NFTs and things like that that could help move some financing into this as well. And Dubie, to answer your question, like first steps, I think if we are thinking about asking for funding in a upcoming Catalyst funding round, I think we really have to focus on hard assets on the ground. And like you said, we have to talk to people on the ground, see what they need, think about those needs within the context of a permaculture design, and think about what those assets might be. I mean, things that come to mind, one thing that we talked about a lot, you know, people are in a position that they used to use trees for heat source, for fuel. Now they've moved on to cow manure. So there goes your pasture. And so how are they cooking? What are they using this fuel for? And what other, you know, more sustainable forms of heat can we help provide? Like solar cookers. I mean, this is like a pretty sunny area right near the equator. Solar cookers could be extremely efficient, you know. And then when we do things like that, maybe eventually that we can even pull in carbon credits as another piece for financing. Pumps, you know, to get that water that's flowing downhill back uphill. You know, we had somebody drop, I think it might have been you, Bruno, that dropped in that link to the Bunyip pumps, which are just amazing. They're passive pumps. They just work on basically gravity to pump water uphill. And then, you know, for doing this landscape wide, you know, changes to the landscape, like shovels, you know, we're talking, a lot of people can do a lot of work with shovels. But there's also oxen. Maybe there's even a place for, you know, limited machinery of some kind, if it's even possible to get it out there. But yeah, I mean, that's part of the first fact-finding mission, is really seeing what people need, what those people can use on the landscape to start the process of regeneration, and just make sure that they get funding, and that will help us gain a lot of trust if we're putting tools in the hands of people and putting money in the hands of people, even if it's just a small bit. Then they can run with it, and they can start building it and making more room for more people.
I'll just add to Bruno's question about the competition. Since last time we discussed, I was been discussing with a few people, and in fact, I come to believe now, I don't think we have problem of land to get in different districts. Now I have a kind of promise from another district that we can have the same kind of land, the unoccupied land near or in the valley that's near the major river. In fact, one of the river that supplies to Omo River, in the Gojab River. So our problem is going to be resources and funds to if we can get 3, 4, 5 districts to do the same thing, and we can have competition between these districts to, yeah. My concern is, do we have enough funds to finance all those projects? But probably there is a way they can really do themselves, copy, without really needing that much resources from our side. Otherwise, we are really good on that respect.
So yeah, I feel like the resources. Sorry, Melanie. Sorry, you want to go?
Yeah, I'm just thinking, you know, if you think about living sustainably, and especially in my case, you figure out the bare essentials of what you need. So, you know, financing, you could finance the whole project from top to bottom, and it's very hard to make that money go. But if we look at it like a forest, like our limited resources, and go, okay, how can we divvy this up and make what funds we have available do have the most impact? I think about saving seeds. You know, if I've got a few seeds, I grow, and it'll take a season before I have a massive amount of seeds. But how can we find the absolute seeds for this funding to do the most work? That's my question.
So maybe, I don't know, I personally feel like for something so large, like I feel like this is quite big, I don't know, in my opinion, if we're talking about multiple districts within Ethiopia, and then, yeah, having a competition between, and then how would you reward, you know, a whole district that's like going to be a lot of trees that you're rewarding, because if there's like 100,000 participants, or not, or maybe not they're all participants, but 100,000 residents in a district, and, you know, they've done whatever. So like, I don't know exactly what we're going to do for all of this. Like, obviously it's going to be difficult to do the educational part, because you're going to need to educate people on exactly what's like, okay, what are you rewarding? What type of trees, how you'd plant the trees, or how you'd dig a swale or whatever it may be. And, you know, what are the benefits of this? Because people aren't going to do it if there's no benefit, like, of them doing that. Because there needs to be clear that this isn't just for the competition, it's for the landscape. You know, there's going to need to be a very clear messaging around that, you know, within the communities and stuff. And yeah, it just needs to be defined, like, how you're going to educate all these people to understand what they're doing, because it's I don't think it's just about doing it, it's about people understanding, and then they can build their knowledge, because they'll be like, okay, this is one step, but what's the next step? And then you can kind of educate them on that. I feel like it has to be something ongoing, and, you know, maybe what we do in one place can actually, whatever the reward is for one place can actually spread onto the other places. It doesn't need to be like, you know, winner takes all type of thing. It should be like, okay, this is the winner, we're going to kind of focus resources here because they maybe put in the most work, and maybe they're got the most people interested in this, like, topic within their communities. But then it could filter onto other community people who, like, were also interested, go see what was done, what, you know, plants were used, or what, you know, systems were created there, and can kind of replicate or educate themselves around that. I don't know, I feel like there's so much potential for, you know, collaboration and stuff. And I feel like, yeah, this project as a whole could be something that is wider than just us here. I feel like it already is, because we're talking about, you know, somewhere, you know, in Ethiopia with lots of people living there, and, you know, could benefit a lot of them. But it could be something that, obviously, I feel like World Mobile could be a really, really good candidate for collaborating, because, I mean, we're literally talking about how, you know, they can't connect to the call because of the lack of internet connection. So that would be something great. And I don't know if they have an MOU with, like, the Ethiopian government, but I know they're speaking with so many governments in Africa. So it might really be the case that they have some sort of talks going on there. And if we do have a large scale, like, regenerative agriculture project, I'm 100% sure World Mobile will be on board. They have, like, a very sustainable, like, business model, and they're all about sharing, shared economy. So empowering people on the ground to have ownership and have revenue streams and better connectivity. So I feel like that's, I mean, a really cool way that we could empower people and,
Bruno,
you know, improve connectivity. Like,
Bruno,
we could
I hear
actually
the voice.
communicate.
I hear the voice of another connector. And, you know, we see these complex systems. And I have this little quote on my wall from Mark Twain: "The secret of getting ahead is getting started. The secret of getting started is breaking down your complex problems into manageable tasks." You've brought this up about education, about these other components. And that may be one of the pieces that those who are not immediately directly involved could help with. Cardano4Climate has an education piece. That part's getting built out and will include regenerative agriculture, information about Ethiopia. So let's connect these pieces so that we don't have to reinvent the wheel. But as a fellow connector, let's figure out how to organize it, break it down, and bring it together. Saying that, I'm noticing we're 3 hours in. Is that right? And Brock, you said you've got to go. I'm recording. Simon has to leave. Do you need me to take host? And Dubie, you too? What's up? Yeah. So Kit, and again, it's a complex problem. Is it possible to wrap up, say, in 5 minutes, and we carry on at another time?
I think we have said most of the things that we said. I just want to add one thing, that there was a question that raised how blockchain technology is going to help us with this. All things that we are saying now about sustainable technology, sustainable agriculture, and permaculture have been tried in Ethiopia for the last 20 years. I think the missing part was the governance, the sharing of information. And now blockchain technology provides that one, that missing piece. With blockchain technology, we have the chance to really expand there is how can I say, there is really an interest to really take the country out of the problems that it is in. The political leadership had the willingness to do that, but the tools, they were missing until now. But we have those tools in this for the funding, for the governance, for documentation, the things we have those tools. If we start implementing in a small scale, then I really believe that the country is ready to accept those things and to implement in larger scale, in a countrywide scale. That's what I believe.
Any other last words?
I don't know. I mean,
Dubie, are you
I think
heading
it's a common
out, or
theme.
do you
We
want to? Are you putting up your hand? Is it a buy or putting up a hand?
I'm gonna put up my hand soon. It's been a long day.
Sorry, Tyler.
But no, don't be sorry. This has been awesome. One of the greatest days. But yeah, I mean, it's like Tagain was saying, it's and like so many people in this conference have said, it's like we have to start with the models. And what Tichaf is saying, we start small, we prove, we gain trust, we start moving a small amount of funding, and we let the funding and the regeneration and the networking all follow to the point where maybe we aren't that many years away from districts competing with each other. I don't think we're there now. I think that's many orders of fractal beyond where we are right now. But it's just about crafting that proposal and just keeping the conversation going. And it's kind of cool that this has become like one of my little babies, but I'm kind of pretending to be a leader today, but it's not necessarily, where I'm the most comfortable. I'm not always the best at like rallying the troops. So please don't let it rely on myself and Tagain to keep this thing going. I mean, we're here, I'm dedicated, my heart is in it. And I want to see this happen. But it really just takes so much. We need a lot of brains and hearts and hands on this one. So that's all I have to say today. This has been awesome.
It takes a community. This is not
Yeah,
not a one man, one woman.
Yeah, I agree. I'll probably butcher this saying, but I heard it in Ethiopia, and it's 50 lemons is like it's a burden to carry for one person, but it's a pleasure for a community to carry. And it's important that we work together, we see this together, we come up with good ideas, and we work on them. I'm a firm believer that we have all of the understandings, knowledge, resources at our hands to do small things and big things without additional funding, without anything else. What we have right here is enough to start. If we can really hear the words of what nature in that space needs and the people need, then it won't be what we want to put on that environment, but it's what the environment wants to grow alongside us. So yeah, I'd love to breathe life into that and see where it goes. Thanks a lot for hosting this. It's great to meet everyone.
May I share with you one, probably the last bit? It's a music from the community. So.
Oh, please.
Does this have volume?
I can't hear it yet.
Yeah, so
you can't hear it.
No, what
I
you'll have
cannot.
to
Maybe
do,
there's a share.
yeah, unshare, and then select, make sure that you include sound. This is our lesson from today.
Let me see.
Yeah, so like Melanie said, when you click share screen, I think on the bottom left there's a little box that says share sound. You just click that. That's all you gotta do.
Yes,
yep.
yes.
Now I'm an expert.
Oh, okay. Let me. Yeah, that's the Yem traditional music played by almost the whole community. It's a collective music.
It's a collective